releasing in too often the ball and of New Stark.
Football show coming up shortly. That interview with Mick Foley will be up with offtheball.com as well about Cork and Corkness and the strategic plan for the next 5 years. The text in from KP in Waterford is the stadium board is now like NAMA for the county board in Cork, just moving debt into another organisation. That's pretty remarkable stuff, actually. Not surprising the way this country works, but they build Páirc Uí Chaoimh. The stadium debt is way higher than anyone expected, and it seems they've somehow managed to separate it from the Cork County Board, so they're not going to be weighed down by this debt.
How did they do that?
Well, they set up a company, a Páirc Uí Chaoimh Stadium company, which will service the debt, presumably through events and concerts. But it means that, for the Cork County Board's point of view, they can put together a 5-year plan and somehow plot into the future.
It is quite remarkable.
And they get the use of the stadium. Do they still get to decide who gets to use the stadium? Presumably so.
I've never been down to Páirc Uí Chaoimh, but it looks absolutely fantastic on TV, I have to say. It's a place I'm definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah, have I been to? Oh, I have been to New. I was at Cork Clare this summer. It is. It's a very nice new modern stadium. I'm not going to say
at the game where
it's not exactly. It's not the new White Hart Lane, I'd say. Yeah, it's grand. Like, it's a new stadium. I wouldn't say it's modern. It's modern in the sense that it's new.
What's wrong with this?
It's just grand.
Just like seats.
Seats. There's nothing high tech about it.
No, what's it like under the...
The Wi-Fi is very good though, so that's the main thing, Johnny.
Yeah.
All this week we're giving away entries to Quest Adventure races around Ireland with a grand prize on Friday of a weekend in Kenmare for 2 people. Quest Adventure races involve running, cycling and kayaking across various distances and stunning locations. And the good news is there's routes to suit all levels of abilities. You can choose from a Quest race in Kenmare, Glendalough, Killarney or Lough Derg, all of which are great days out. To be with a chance of winning, just identify our mystery voice, who wasn't too pleased when he found out that by not subscribing to Off The Ball's YouTube channel, he was missing lots of great content.
A little ticked off at myself, for sure.
Text your name and answer to 53106 for 30 cents. We will announce the winner later in the show. It's all with thanks to Quest Adventure Races. Find out more right now on questadventureseries.com. Time for the football show.
The Football Show on Off The Ball.
Brought to you by the new and improved Boyle Sports Bet Builder. Now with 44 markets to choose from on every match.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play my country again.
Do it then. What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
Johnny Ward's in studio. How are you?
Grand. I was...
Kilbane Andrews coming up shortly.
Before the Stephen O'Donnell interview, chilling with the lads there and in the office watching old reruns of Match of the Day from 1983.
Oh, nice.
Modern football is crap. Like
83 feels like a lost era in football. Sort of.
I guess
82, 83, 84.
I was only just being born.
So was I.
Yeah,
maybe that's why.
Don't remember much. Yeah, don't remember much Match of the Day from the early 80s.
Look at the years when Everton were very good.
Yeah, played UCD in 81, didn't they? On their way to winning, was it the old UEFA Cup or Cup Winners' Cup? And I think they beat them like by a goal on aggregate or something like that. A star-studded Everton team and little UCD, who years later would go on to get to the second round in Europe after getting there via the fair play rule.
So are you suggesting that football was better back then?
First of all, everyone was wearing...
It was 1985 that Everton won the European Cup Winners' Cup.
85.
So was it 85 they played them? So
everyone in the clip was wearing black boots. You saw grounds like the Old Dell.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Rosenthal presenting. It was probably ITV actually in those days, was it? It was Brian Moore commentating.
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
But it just, I know we're all, nostalgia kind of can really play tricks with the mind and that everything was great when actually it wasn't. But compared to modern football, the standard is way better now, but the standard of actual men and kind of heart and all that, in terms
it's just life. The standard of the men back then.
It's just different. Modern life is actually kind of rubbish. Like
Graham Souness was the best midfielder in English football back then. Who's the best midfielder in English football right now?
Who's the best midfielder in English football? Like English?
Graham Souness, Fernandinho.
Yeah.
Who are you going to want?
I know.
You're going to want Souness.
You would want Souness.
But even so, I was saying to John Giles, he was referencing Leeds beating Southampton 7-0. And I was saying how Leeds fans talk about that as this was the crowning moment when everything was it was the perfect game of football for Leeds United, of their greatest ever team. Like Liverpool have that in, was it 87, 88 when they beat Nottingham Forest 5-0? And I've watched that game a lot. Like there were very good. But as you say, the standard of football right now, like the pitches are far better. Everything is far more advanced now. Like the skill, it's different gravy. You just look at now, the speed of the game is at a totally different level.
Your memory is just so kind of qualified in terms of looking on things. I remember when Galway won the All-Ireland in 2001 and being up at the game that day, and obviously it was coming 3 years after they won the first one, and the Irish Independent the following day said that Galway football is basically on the cusp of dominating for a long time to come. I think they went years and years and years without winning a game in Croke Park after that. But funny enough, years ago, you know, you're stuck for buying your brother something for Christmas or whatever, so I bought him the video of the 2001 All-Ireland final, and the standard of football was like, compared to now, and even people bemoan football now, that Galway team in 2001 would be beaten out the gate by Dublin now.
What?
Oh, I'm telling you, the standard of football was...
That Galway team.
Now, Meath were a shambles in the second half, but the standard of football was nowhere near what it is now. Genuinely.
Wow, on that bombshell, we have to take a break because the Kilbane and Andrews are demanding to enter the studio.
Football on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by the new and improved Boyle Sports Bet Builder. Now with 44 markets to choose from on every match.
The Pat Kenny Show.
On tomorrow's programme, A Tale of Two Borders. Henry McKean goes to Auchnacloy, Donald Trump goes to Texas. Stuart Clark with all the gig and music news, and our Friday Forum dissect the stories of the week.
The Pat Kenny Show.
With MasterCard.
Tomorrow morning at 9.
On News Talk.
At Blackrock Clinic, we offer direct access to our expert team of endoscopy specialists. So if you're concerned about a stomach or bowel issue, we can quickly find the cause and whether it's serious or not. With a referral from your GP, an appointment can be arranged within 24 hours. For access to a world-class endoscopy unit, think first. Think Blackrock Clinic. Blackrock Clinic. When your experience needs ours.
This isn't gonna be easy.
Why are you talking in that voice?
Late nights, intensive research, forget about seeing your family.
Well, you're my wife.
We'll chase every lead, shake down every witness.
Wait, what?
Cross-reference every offer and triangulate every promotion until we find it.
Find what?
The way, Peter. The way to save on car insurance.
But I already went on to 123.ie. Save 10%, no questions asked.
Oh, I better cancel those sniffer dogs.
Simple is smarter. Get 10% off new car insurance when you buy online at 123.ie. Acceptance criteria, T's and C's apply. 123 Money Limited trading as 123.ie is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. RSA Insurance Ireland Act provides 123.ie car insurance.
Welcome to the Ford Innovate 191 sales event, driving better SUV value for you. Take the incredible Ford Kuga, featuring Ford Sync with touchscreen, smartphone mirroring, leather trim and key-free system. And right now, you can order a 191 Ford Kuga with an amazing 7-year warranty, 7-year roadside assistance and 2 years free servicing. All from just €28,450. Ford Innovate, driving better value for you. See it for yourself at your local participating Ford dealer. Offer ends January 31st. Ford, go further. Price excludes delivery and related charges. Terms and conditions apply. See Ford.ie for details.
GoHop.ie now have the very best fares to North America, thanks to the American Airlines and British Airways big USA sale. From summer, you can fly direct from Dublin to Dallas and explore all that Texas has to offer, or discover all 4 corners of the US with the best combined network, including Charleston and Nashville. With 4 cabin choices plus complimentary meals and drinks, it's never been easier to start your own US adventure with American Airlines and British Airways. Plan your next escape to the USA with GoHop.ie.
The Harvey Norman Big Sale is now on, with big savings on home appliances, like the Dyson V8 Absolute Cord-Free Stick Vacuum with up to 40 minutes fade-free suction for just €349. Or get the Dyson Hot and Cool Fan for just €349, saving you €100. And at Harvey Norman, we've matched all competitors' prices, so no need to shop around. The Harvey Norman Big Sale, in store and online. Don't miss out.
Go, Harvey, go!
Football Index is reinventing football betting. You can buy and sell the world's top players. Their value may go up and down, but it's not over with the final whistle like a regular bet. Football Index reinventing football betting.
Start building your portfolio today at footballindex.co.uk or download the app now. New customers only, minimum deposit and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
Off the Ball. This is News Talk.
All right, welcome back to Thursday's football show. Were the mics live there? No, I think we were safe enough. Keith Andrews and Kevin Kilbane have been around town all day waiting for this moment. In for the Keith Andrews show earlier. It's up on offtheball.com right now. Would you have been happy if you were part of the Sunderland Till I Die documentary? As a player?
No, I wouldn't. As anything? No, I wouldn't want to be part of it. No, I wouldn't. I was never in favour of cameras becoming going behind the scenes or anything like that in the dressing rooms, because it becomes a false environment, and lads act differently around it, managers act differently, and it just becomes a false environment. So no, I would never in favour of that.
I'm bringing up the documentary, which I'm sure lots of people have already seen, because Simon Grayson, who was one of the stars of the opening few episodes, was on the Keith Andrews show a little bit earlier today. Do you think then that from watching the documentary that certain people in it were acting?
Yes, 100% was.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Words out of my mouth, yeah.
100%.
I quite liked Martin Bain.
No.
Just because, he might have played to the camera, he may have been acting a bit, but he just played the role so well.
Well, that's it. That's what it is. He's played a role. He's not necessarily been a good CEO of the club.
What did he do wrong?
He's not. No,
did he assign Ross McCormack on massive money at
maybe the breaststroke
11?
in the opening scene, or the backstroke, whatever he's doing in the pool. The Louis Vuitton bag getting into the Range Rover, was that really all necessary?
That's
football, isn't it? You're all Louis Vuitton bags and Range Rovers. That's life.
It just throws it down people's necks. It's cool. Honestly, I mean, again, each to their own. Honestly, each to their own. People want to view it. People, of course, would have different views of me in it, but it just looks. I think it looks so bad. It looked so bad how he was coming across, and how he was trying to portray himself and try to portray the club and in what they were wanting from it. It just didn't sit well with me, no.
Generally, chairmen and CEOs of clubs, are they very, very involved day to day? Would you have got to know them on a pretty personal basis?
Yeah, there would be more. Some would be more friendly than others. I think there's a line that you shouldn't cross towards players. You can't be seen to be too friendly. If I was a manager or coaching member, and you're looking at a CEO constantly chatting away to players in the canteen or the same players, and I think that can become unhealthy. But as a member of staff, it's imperative that you have a good working relationship. And to be fair to Simon, who was on earlier, he said they had a very good working relationship. He was the one that brought him to the football club. But I'm okay, but I didn't think he came across great. And on the flip side of that, I didn't think Simon Grayson came across as Simon Grayson, to my knowledge, and to what I would have heard.
In what way?
I thought he didn't come across very well in terms of what he said, how he was saying it, the atmosphere that was generated at the football club, having spoken to some of the players that were playing under him, some of the coaching staff, medical side of things.
So you think the negativity, say that particularly that transfer deadline day night where he didn't get to sign Ross McCormack and things didn't go, and suddenly this narrative developed of, well, I've sort of been sold a pup here. This wasn't what I thought I was getting when I agreed to become Sunderland manager. That the way it's portrayed in the documentaries, that fed down to the players, where actually in reality maybe it didn't. Maybe it was a lot more positive.
I think he tried to generate. It was a huge step up from in terms of the size of the football club. But I think what he tried to do, I think the goalposts were certainly moved. But I don't think it portrayed what exactly he was doing behind the scenes, and the atmosphere he was trying to generate, which you're alluding to, and what he was trying to bring to the team. And yeah, I think it was edited very, very well. But as a whole, I enjoyed the documentary. But I have sympathy for Simon Grayson.
What does that mean, the size of the football club? Because this is brought up. We're going to talk Manchester United now in their game against Spurs, but it's always brought up about Manchester United, a football club of that size. You've been to Sunderland, you've been to Preston, two places where Simon Grayson. What is the difference between a club of Preston size and a club of Sunderland size?
Chalk and cheese. Honestly.
Just in terms of expectation, is it?
Yeah, definitely. And I said it to Simon today when I spoke to him. I went there. I didn't enjoy it. Didn't enjoy. It wasn't so much I didn't enjoy. People thought you don't enjoy the area, the people. It was nothing like that. It was just the scrutiny you were always under. I mean, I'd signed, and I remember I had a supporter. I was with my wife at the time. We went out for a meal. It was around about Christmas time when I signed, because there was no deadline at the time. It was actually the last window before the deadline came in, a transfer window come in, should I say? So I signed around Christmas time. And I had a Sunderland fan that just came in and sat beside us. Like, I felt like he was just entitled to sit with us and have a meal with us. It was around about Christmas. I think it was between Christmas and New Year. Just sat with us.
You mean at your table?
At our table, 20 minutes, asking me questions. And we were looking at you like, you don't want to say, look, excuse me, mate, but...
That's where you're too nice.
Yeah, but it's right, but it was like, there was just... I felt as though it was you were owned.
I was going to say there's a sense of entitlement.
You were owned.
You belong to us.
You were owned. Wherever you went,
across in the documentary.
Wherever you went across the northeast, and I mean it honestly. And I've had it at various football clubs you've been at. You know, you played for a big club in Everton, played at Derby, another big club, say Champions level, West Brom, another big club. But there, it was like going around the supermarket. People actually, you should be putting that. You should be putting that in your trolley. So I was like, mate, and I spoke, and it wasn't, and it's not just Sunderland. I've spoken to lads. There's no vegan diets then, but I've spoken to lads that played at Newcastle and lads who I would know, and it was pretty much the same. Didn't enjoy, and it's nothing. It's just I felt as though personally the scrutiny that you're under when you're going out for a coffee in an afternoon, whether you were going shopping, whether you were going out for a meal with your partners, wives, whatever it would be, I just felt as though it was too much for me personally. I'd gone from West Brom, and I say it like, you know, I'd gone from like. One of the most sought after players outside the Premier League at the time. You had a few options to go to different clubs, and I went to Sunderland off the back of being guaranteed to play first team football. And I went there and pretty much didn't enjoy it from when I signed. And again, I didn't play well, so I'm not making excuses for my own performances. I didn't play well, but I'm talking about off the pitch. I felt as though it was too much for me.
But
I was only 21 at the time.
Yeah, so maybe you weren't ready for it. Because I'm just thinking of, say, when you played with Ireland, was there not that sense of ownership with Irish supporters to players? I always remember a situation, and you would have been there, in the team hotel in Gdansk, or Sopot, as it was at Euro 2012. The bar downstairs was open. So you were upstairs in your rooms and the bar downstairs was open. And every so often the families would come in, I'd imagine, to see the players. And I remember John O'Shea coming down in the lift and sitting down with his family, and you probably got half an hour to chat. And he's sat in the corner. You can see this is private time with his wife, with his family, and all of a sudden the fans are over, not even wanting an autograph, not even want a photo, just to, you know, have a proper having a proper long chat, feeling this sense of, you're an Irish player, we've paid to come here, we can spend time with you.
That's day to day though, with Kev, talking about a club life. That's your kind of bread and butter, your daily routine. When you come away with Ireland, it's different, isn't it? It's your country, and obviously
personally I never felt it overstepped the mark. With Ireland. I didn't, and it was always I always felt in a polite manner, no problems at all, absolutely no problems at all.
So did that just wear you down then at Sunderland every single day? I guess every time you leave the house having to think, well, who's going to see this? Who's going to be questioning this?
I don't imagine what it's like for the players now. When obviously we saw it. Darren Gibson getting is obviously.
Well, that's what I was wondering actually when you mentioned that. So there's the incident where, as people will have seen it, even if you haven't seen the documentary, as you say, Gibson is out on the lash one night, is in a pub, starts bitching and moaning about all his teammates not being up for it. It gets filmed. It gets put out everywhere.
Yeah.
Would that not happen at, say, Preston?
Probably would this day and age.
Yeah, it would. Of course it would happen now. Of course it would happen. It wouldn't be as high profile, would it? That is the thing. But I think in general, you know, some of the antics we would have got up to, if you're around a social media age, you would have had to quickly bloody rectify it because you couldn't get away with it. We know that. But that's just life. Like what you would have got up to at university, bloody hell, Nath, I can well imagine that.
Outrageous slur.
Yeah.
Quiet nights in playing Football Manager.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
All true though. But no, but I think we all know now we're in a different age, and we know that. But I think I just think in general we weren't in a social media age yet. I felt as though it was so intense the whole time. Out for a drink, you know, whether you got the right result or the wrong result in a weekend, it always just seemed that bit too much, that overwhelming in my mind. That's what it was. It was overwhelming.
Why do you think that is in Sunderland? Is it?
I think it's the North East in general.
Northeast, everybody says it.
Is it the lack of success?
The lack of success.
Or does success ease it? Like, does promotion, do you get a period of grace when Sunderland get promoted or Newcastle get promoted, or they have a decent season?
Well, I always say, right, and I say it all the time, the day my first game for Sunderland, I was on the bench against Southampton. I remember Peter Reid getting stick. Sunderland was second in the Premier League at the time. Peter Reid was getting stick from supporters behind me on the bench. And even then, I was looking around thinking, what? I was thinking, like, what more can be expected? Sunderland were actually second in the top four. Was it Champions League place at that stage? I don't know how it.
So they're just looking for an outlet to vent.
Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I might be wrong, and you could be proven wrong on that one. I genuinely don't know. But I always remember thinking when I was on the bench that day, thinking, what's going on here? How can this be? How can it be? Now, when you're rolling with the good times, it was success. I've got so many friends up there because they're amazing people. Honestly, because I think I remember Niall described it in his book as being very similar to rural Ireland, where people know each other's business. Yet it can be a little bit more overwhelming than that. But it's still good people, essentially, really, really, really good people. But I felt at the time it was just too much for me, particularly when you're not playing well. When I wasn't playing well and I wasn't having a good time, everything was becoming too much for me.
But you don't look at it the other way, that you weren't playing well because the pressure was too much?
You could maybe look at it like that.
Perhaps the age you were.
Perhaps it was. I was a kid essentially when I signed there. You feel as though you're mature and things like that, but you're not. I look back and, of course, who's mature at 21 or whatever it would be, 22, you're not. But it was just too much, and I'd played my whole career. You said the only thing I wanted to do as a kid was play for Ireland. When you start to develop, you want to play in the Premier League. That was the thing. So you're starting to 16, 17, you want to play in the Premier League, and you put so much of an expectation of playing in the Premier League, and it's like, right, I've reached it. Oh God, the reality is very, very different. Everyone's a little bit quicker, everyone's a little bit sharper, everyone's a little bit better, and you've got to modify your game, and that's what maybe I took a little bit of time to adjust to as well. So that may be something that I look at myself because of that.
Did you have ever any issues with that sort of off-pitch scrutiny?
Yeah. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
Oh, do you know? I thought you were throwing a little grenade there.
I'm just throwing it out there, but
I don't know. I had murder with Blackburn fans. Like murder. I got away with one really because I was getting a bit of stick off the fans post Paul Ince leaving, and then Sam Ballas took over and I got on really well with him, played, so that was fine. And then Steve Keane took over and fans started getting on my case a little bit, and Steve Keane left me out of the team because of the fans, which I was right. He actually said he used that as an excuse. So the following game or the game I was playing, all the rest of it, the fans again, and they were quite like proper, and he took me off. So I thought he's hung me out to dry there. And there was these fans behind the dugout, you know, at Ewood Park, where they kind of go up along the side.
Yeah.
And this one fan in particular, he was always chirpy, and I just lost me and launched a full bottle of Lucozade straight at them. But as I went like that, the fitness coach grabbed my arm, and instead of it going there, it went like that way.
Oh no.
Hit this woman straight in the face.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I got in a bit of trouble for that.
I think it would have taken some shot to actually hit the fella you were meaning to hit as well, in fairness, when you think about it.
Yeah, well, I tried to get at him as well.
Did you?
Oh, Jesus.
And did you see instantly that you'd hit the woman straight in the face?
Well, no, the fitness coach jumped on me, but then I seen her kind of holding her face, and then...
Was there blood?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Like, is this Brooks Koepka the Ryder Cup, almost blinding a woman?
No.
What did you have to do? Obviously,
she came into the training ground. It must have been a Saturday. She came into the training on the Monday, and I apologised. And
what did she say?
She was good as gold. She didn't agree with all the stick I was getting, and she felt a little bit, and I obviously didn't mean to hit her.
But wait, this was a full Lucozade bottle from what? 15 feet away, smash in the face.
Yeah.
Could have been done for grievous bodily harm.
I was lucky that wasn't caught on camera.
I mean, seriously though, it's you know what, we commentate in games a lot though, and you know when we see someone do something stupid and we say, what's he thinking about there? But the stuff you do when you're playing or when you're coming off the pitch, things like, I remember when I give the Sunderland fans the V's, and it's so much is made of it. So everyone always thinks I was sold immediately after that. I was actually at the club a year after that before I'd gone, and actually had my best season at Sunderland after it, as it turned out. But the things you don't realise what you're doing, that sort of thing. If you're thinking the cold light of day, would you do that? No chance.
No, it's a build-up, isn't it? And you're so highly strung in terms of playing in front of whatever it was, 25,000 people at Ewood, and you're coming off, and you're all your emotions are. You're raging with fans, you're raging with the manager, and like all these kind of, I shouldn't even be at this club, all these things are going through your head, and you've come off a pitch where you're 100 miles an hour and you're like so intense, so into it, trying to get a result for your team, your teammates. You've got all these different emotions going on, and then that happens where you're right, logic just goes out the window. But I was certainly fortunate I got away with it.
Damn right you were. It's miraculous in a way that more incidents like that, like Cantona kung fu kicking into the crowd. It's incredible.
It's like if you're there and that's the stand, and you're in the stand, and you are just volleying abuse at us. And that we've seen it obviously with racist abuse in recent weeks, months, years, where it's been clamped down on. But if it's non-racial, and you're just giving us abuse. I remember even a few years ago at Preston, funny enough, I was doing a game for Sky, and we were literally just the opposite side. I've never even come across Preston. And this fan was literally the whole time we were on air, like from here to the camera, probably as far away, launching abuse, like aggressive and like foaming at the mouth. Stewards just standing by waiting, and then literally as soon as we went to ads, I just stared at him. Next time we were on, he's throwing things at me. I'm like,
come on,
This
seriously?
is like your analysis.
But if I reacted, which is fair enough, but if I reacted, then it's all on me.
Yeah.
How's that right?
Well, do you know what? Even well, that wouldn't have happened in Preston, as you know. But
you just made that up.
Yeah. But you know, even the Raheem Sterling, when you said the racial abuse, right? Whether or not the lad who actually said I didn't racially abuse him, these are middle-aged men. 40, 50-year-old men actually abusing him the way that you can see the anger in the faces. This
hatred.
It's like, why on earth would you have that in you to actually abuse someone in that manner?
That's not a one-off.
No.
Like, they got caught that time. That is not a one-off.
100%.
That is the pattern of going every Saturday for years and getting away with it. Just been unlucky in a way. They were unlucky that at that one moment Raheem Sterling stood in front of them and the TV camera had zoomed in.
Yeah, totally. That's right.
Wow, I can't believe you threw a full Lucozade bottle smash in a woman's face. What age was this woman?
I don't know, about 50 maybe.
No.
Did you give her a signed jersey? Was it
wasn't a Keith Andrews signed jersey?
Again with the
David Dunn one.
a golfing analogy. Was it like Phil Mickelson when he smacks someone on the head? You get the glove and $100 inside.
I think I got flowers or something along that. I can't remember. Exactly,
and would you generally have heard
apologetic
abuse? Say in the middle of a game. Middle of a game. Would you hear?
I remember at Wolves when I first broke in, and there was a lad called Lee Naylor, left back. I don't know if you remember. He would have been the year ahead of me, and he got in, and like fans were on his case as a 19, 20-year-old lad. And I remember thinking, I was sat in the stand as a year younger. I was like, what's going on here? Like, why are they moaning? He's come through the academy. And I've seen players at Wolves is a tough place to play.
Yeah, I was going to say that to you actually. Wolves is a tough similar sort of thing.
Tough crowd. And I've seen players
big club, past successes, and it's difficult then because you
think they're above where they really are, or where I should say. And
they don't like you to start with. You're not helping matters right now.
Who?
You.
Wolves don't like me?
Yeah.
I don't care. I've been back there recently. It's grand.
It's not about being liked, Nathan. It's just about being treated. I know you want to be liked.
I want to be loved. Not liked, I want to be loved.
Yeah. I read a piece with you actually in the Examiner recently as well.
God,
have you read his interview? Honestly, it's really, really interesting read.
Really?
It's worth anyone.
We're not here to talk about
anyone listening.
We're not here to talk. People don't care about me. They just want to hear your
Nathan Murphy.
They just want to hear your insight.
Yeah, it's an eye opener into the world of Nathan Murphy.
I'm going to get a bottle of water and peg it straight into your face from 10 yards away.
In his aspirations,
in life, my aspirations. Yeah,
the picture looked great.
To be Dave McIntyre. Well, the picture was without question photoshopped massively.
Yeah. No, it was an insight into a top OTB presenter. It was an insight into his world, his diet. He actually talks about his diet as well, his fitness regime.
I didn't want to. They asked.
Honestly,
no. Well, I know what you're thinking.
You answer You answer the questions. No, he's got in the habit of going to the gym regularly. He feels great about himself now, and
really? I don't know if I said that.
Well, that's what's said in the interview. Yeah, you feel great about yourself.
That far.
Yeah. No,
you've got to give a positive.
See, we've seen this before with like players we would have played with, and they get that. When they get that first big contract.
Yeah,
and then they lose start getting a little bit giddy, and they buy the car.
I just haven't got that first big contract.
No, exactly. No,
you know what I mean?
Dave McIntyre's out the door now, and now he's the main commentator, main presenter. Yeah,
Super Nathan.
Yeah, exactly. What did he get? Did you come second behind Joe in the Sports Presenter of the Year as well? Was it? Did you get?
Wow.
Did you? You did, didn't you? Yeah.
Wow.
So now he's trying to get to Joe Malloy's level.
Why is he looking so uneasy?
He's trying to get up to Joe Malloy. It's a compliment. You're doing great for yourself.
Second is all right.
Honestly, fair play to you.
Anyways, we wanted to talk about the games this weekend. We got sidetracked massively. I was enjoying the initial sidetracking, but we've got doubly sidetracked now that nobody really wanted to hear about. So we're going to be at Goodison Park. You're going to be at Goodison Park on Sunday alongside Stephen Doyle. Everton Bournemouth. I opened up the paper earlier on today, Keith Andrews, to see Kevin Kilbane admits Seamus Coleman is not the player he once was.
Is that what I said?
That's the headline. That's what you said. That's the headline.
I probably said it along the lines
Seamus Coleman must change his game to advance as a professional, warns Kevin Kilbane.
Did I say he wasn't the player he once was? I don't think I said that. I said he needs to change his game.
That's part of what he said.
That's the headline.
Yeah, I think he does need to change his game as he gets older. I didn't say that. But
Sun.
Was it?
The Mirror said Seamus Coleman must change his game to advance as a professional.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You agree with that?
I said.
Are we going to be getting Coleman having a pop at Kilbane next time out?
No, I didn't actually say it. I didn't actually say that he wasn't. He's not the player he once was.
You're a bit uneasy, Kev, with that.
No,
saying you didn't say this.
I'm quite happy what I said.
Interviews, Kev. People. You say one thing, people write another thing.
Exactly. There you go.
know.
No, I think he does need to modify his game to an extent as he's getting older. They do. It's a natural thing. I think when I spoke. If you listen to Keith Andrews' show today, we had this conversation anyway.
I heard it.
But no, I think now he's at an age, and you even asked the question when I was speaking to lads the other day, like is his place in doubt? No chance, absolutely no. He is first name on the team sheet, captain. He has to play, simply has to play every game for us because we've got no one that's played at his level, his consistency over the last 6 or 7 years. There's no one at that level. He simply has to play every game. But what I was meaning from it, Seamus Coleman, when he was playing under Martinez, when he was playing under certain managers, he just had a licence to go. You go where you want. Go and get forward. Go and arrive in the penalty area, in around the penalty spot at times, getting goals, creating goals from deep positions, then getting in advance. I think he will have to modify the game as he's going through. Now, I think he's even modifying his game now under Marco Silva. Doesn't play at the same standard or the same style as Martinez. He's more of a, I would say, a Mourinho-type manager, in the fact is that it's very much positional sense. Everybody knows the position on the pitch. I imagine he works on his team shape constantly, Marco Silva. He doesn't necessarily work on set pieces, mind, but he does work on positional sense of the team. So you'll see Seamus Coleman now not necessarily having freedom, just say, right, go on and get in advance. So that's what I was meaning from the fact is he needs to modify, I think, as he gets older. Simply energy levels and fitness levels and everything he will not be able to do the things he was doing 3 or 4 years ago anyway, regardless of the injury. Put the injury aside, he will not be able to do that in any case.
We've seen quite a bit of Everton this season. Saw them at Old Trafford against Manchester United when Martial gave them a really tough day. It feels as though a lot of teams are they targeting him? Are they trying to go down their left-hand side, the Everton right? Do they spot a weakness there compared to, say, Luca Digne on the other side?
No, I'd have Seamus over Luca Digne as a defender in 1v1 scenarios. I think there's been certain games where he hasn't hit the heights, most certainly. Whether that's the age, whether it's the injury, the after effects of the injury, we don't know. But I'm with Kev in terms of he is going to have to tweak his game, and he's not going to be able to be as explosive, as expansive, as marauding as he has been traditionally. But I don't see a problem with that. And we were chatting about it earlier, where I think Mick McCarthy will actually like that. I think he'll like a fullback to be in a position where he's not out of the game if they lose possession high up the pitch. He's in a position where he's able to stop counter-attacks. And he's going to have to become even better in possession than he's ever been, because when you think about Seamus Coleman getting into those tricky situations, it's always been head down, manipulate the ball, going little mazes. Now he's going to have to use his passing ability probably even more so than ever. But in terms of him, Ireland, and let's not forget, we were saying about it earlier, John Joe Kenny isn't exactly Cafu. He'll be back in the team.
It does feel as though this collapse in his form has been massively overstated.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
we've seen him there.
I couldn't agree. So they had a very good run of form when he was playing very, very well.
Yeah.
And then over Christmas they'd one bad result. But then he dropped Idrissa Gana Gueye out of the team. Suddenly in that game against, I think was it the game against Spurs? Like there was it Spurs' second goal where
he was Idrissa Gueye was injured or suspended.
Well, Tom Davies came into the side in his place. And like obviously Gueye does a huge amount of the donkey work in the middle of midfield. But the ball broke down on the halfway line. Coleman had sort of stepped forward, but there was nobody back covering him. Michael Keane has no pace of note at all. But they've changed the team slightly. Maybe he's not at 100%, but this thing that his form has fallen off a cliff.
It's nonsense.
He scored the own goal. He scored the own goal. What the hell could he have done with the own goal as well?
But that boiled down to Gary Neville's analysis afterwards, that he didn't shift his body quick enough. And then the second goal, where even Neville in his analysis said maybe he could have slightly shifted his body shape and got a jump. But when the forward gets a run on you like that, there's nothing you could do.
100%.
And because that was on television, it becomes this story.
That was a position exactly where I used to love to exploit as well. It was Decore scored the goal, wasn't it, Watford? I used to love it, because you know for a fact the fullback is flat-footed. The only thing a fullback can do there is actually jump into you. Jump in and stop you jumping, because if you get the jump, they're done. Absolutely no chance. And as a fullback, even though I was a tall fullback, you know full well, if someone that's even smaller coming over, it's coming over your shoulder, you can't get the jump. So as soon as he's on top of you and he's jumping, you've no chance. The only thing you can do is actually stop him and jump into him and actually put him off, which in turn you could be giving a foul away. That's the only thing you can do in that position.
I think he's been unfortunate in that you look at Michael Keane, who isn't comfortable when they're far up the pitch because he doesn't have the pace to get back. Also, is not good on the ball. The amount of times you see Michael Keane under no pressure roll it 3 yards behind Coleman or 3 yards in front. And also on the other side, Bernard, when he plays, or Richarlison, they like to cut in a little bit, get out of Luca Digne's way, whereas Walcott and Coleman, for whatever reason, don't seem to have any understanding.
That's what I said. I said that weeks ago. The two of them do not complement each other at all. Walcott takes the same positions that Seamus Coleman likes to take. I don't think Walcott's clever enough to come in and play off a striker that frees up Coleman down the outside. He constantly wants to make runs wide, whereas that's the space that he does. The two of them don't work together. As in tandem, they're not a pairing. Nowhere near a pairing. Whereas you say on the other side, you've got Bernard and Luca Digne. Whereas look at the combinations that they're playing. It's almost like Baines and Pienaar from a few years ago. That combination worked brilliantly. So no, I don't see that combination working.
Do you think by the end of the season we'll all have come to an agreement on how you pronounce Luca Digne's name?
Yeah, we've got it.
You're going Luca Digne.
I think. Well, that's what we're talking. Luca Digne. It's like when you pronounce it with the D, isn't it? But Luca Digne.
I don't think he's done enough yet to warrant a debate about it.
Oof.
Has he really?
Wow.
Has
he not been quite solid?
All right, but he's not like
Leighton Baines.
Yeah, he's just.
Well, Everton. Baines, he played well last weekend actually, but.
Where do you see Everton going then? Because they started the season pretty inconsistent, had this brilliant run. They go to Stamford Bridge, they get this scoreless draw. Remember Stephen Kelly saying at the time, Everton the last couple of years lose that game, but they grind it out, they put their heads down, and then it just collapses over Christmas.
Well, we were at the Merseyside derby, weren't we, as well?
That felt like the turning point.
Yeah, they weren't great, but they played well. You know, they played well. They deserved a draw, didn't they, on the day? And since that game, it's been a collapse.
Poor, isn't it?
Maybe mentally they went after that game, I don't know. I know they got the Burnley result through the Christmas time, but other than that, it's been dreadful stuff. The Tottenham game was as bad as you'd ever see. Now, Tottenham were amazing to watch. The energy that they played, the movement was sensational, but they shouldn't really conceding 6 goals. The quality that Everton have got, conceding 6 goals at home.
Sheary's come out, hasn't he, in the last couple of days and said the ambitions.
He's had a pop, hasn't he?
Yeah, not good enough where they are, but he's still the one, because let's not forget the money they paid for Marcus.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, Silva, is he a Portuguese Pardew? Is he a bit of a bullshitter?
Portuguese Pardew.
Well, I said before about
look at his results.
CV.
Well, you know the set piece thing is something that annoys me on seeing. It's not just an Everton
across
thing.
6 yard box.
He did it at Hull. Did it at
Watford.
At Watford, right? Everyone talks about Everton having a poor record from set pieces this season. He had a poor record at Hull and he had a poor record at Watford. The way that they line up, and I always think, and coaches in general will have a massive disagreement with it. You'd have done your badges. I know I would have done my badges when you're having this conversation. You disagree. People like doing zonal. People like doing it man marking. Personally, I would like to do it where you have a bit of both. It's a compromise where you have a few people that are able to be a bit free.
Who does that well? Are there teams that you've watched who do that well?
Do the compromise well. Most teams, Liverpool zonal mark, Everton zonal mark, City man mark with an element of zonal. They don't really concede a lot.
Middle of 6 yard.
Yeah. So essentially, when you're saying zonal, you'll have player on the front post free, player in the middle of the 6 yard box free, middle of the goal, back post. Those 3 are zonal. Basically, you go and head the ball. Sometimes it can be 3 of your better headers, but sometimes you might need someone that's specific job of doing a man marking job. And then you've got 2 or 3 others doing the marking job. Sometimes it can become a mismatch with one of your markers. That's your only problem with that. I prefer to go with your best markers, not necessarily your tallest players, but your best markers, matching theirs up. Match up, and then you maybe free up one of your better headers. In the middle of the 6 yard box, you go and head it, whether that's in behind you.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's my personal preference on it. I think zonally, you will always be susceptible to an under-hit corner or an over-hit corner to the far post. So near post and far post, you're vulnerable, and also a short corner. You're
short every time.
You're always
any time
vulnerable.
A short corner that then becomes second phase. So a direct corner kick, there's the accusation where if it's a standing jump, someone against a running, there's only going to be one winner. But even when it comes short and there's more movement in the middle, zonal goes out the window.
Yeah.
Because the ball's been moved, the picture changes. What are those 6-7 bodies supposed to do? Where are they supposed to go?
And So that next step of what you're saying, where are they meant to go? Well, whose responsibility is that? Is that something you should have worked on the training ground as well?
They will have worked on it.
Should players be smart enough to figure it out themselves?
I've seen it at Everton lots of times. First game of the season against, I think it was Southampton, I was there. Shambles. Yeah. As soon as you move it short and it's whipped in, even if it's just 5 yard back to you, you deliver. It's a different, whoa, what are we doing? And you can't adjust quick enough. So you're saying take responsibility. It's difficult. Because if that ball's moved and we're man to man, I've got Kev, I've still got him 2, 3, 4 seconds later.
See it through. It's always the old one who said to you, see the job through until the ball goes dead. See your job through. If you're marking him, I'm marking Keith, I'm marking him, see the job through. But when you're marking zonally, who's my man? Where do I mark? Who do I go to? And then you might lock onto someone that's near to you. Everything goes out, and it's a strange one. I personally think that zonal system is heavily flawed, more flawed than a man-to-man marking system.
We'll preview Spurs Man United over the next couple of days. That's our second live commentary from Wembley. Myself and Brian Carroll will be at that one. Just before we finish up then for tonight, Bournemouth have had a really good season again. Really exciting young attacking players, Fraser, Brooks, Callum Wilson, who this week has been strongly linked with that move to Chelsea, potentially for 50 million. How do you know when a player like Callum Wilson gets linked with one of the big teams? So he's playing for Bournemouth. I'd imagine not many teams go to Bournemouth and sit back. So you get to show your pace, you get to go in behind. Is there any way of knowing, I guess there's not, of whether someone is ready to step up from playing for Bournemouth to playing for Chelsea?
I don't think he's ready for Chelsea.
Why?
I think we were talking about big clubs and we're talking about that transfer fee. I think he's done really well. Every step he's taken in his career, he's done it well considering he's had the injury problems he's had. I think he's done both cruciates, so he's kept his pace as well. He's obviously clearly worked very hard at that. I don't think he has the game intelligence to play at a club of that stature. And I also think the way that Chelsea play predominantly against 3/4 of the teams in the league, they will have teams camped in into their half. He's less effective. Against Bournemouth teams, when they play them, they're less respectful of Bournemouth than they would be against Chelsea.
Push up to the halfway line.
Yeah, so the space in behind. His overall game has improved a lot as the years have gone by, but his general build-up play, his runs, aren't, for me, of the level of a 50 million quid striker or a striker that Chelsea want to really, really improve them.
That's the price, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
50 million if you're going to get him.
That's that game intelligence, it's probably what Giroud has in spades, is it?
But he knows his role, he knows his strengths, and he knows what he brings to the table in terms of that platform to play it into me. I will take care of 2 centre halves, and then you can make the runs off it. Hazard would hate playing with Callum Wilson.
Right. Why?
I think because he's not going to give you a build-up play. He's not going to give you the base. He's always going to
get the quick 1-2s.
No chance. And I think that's why they like playing with Giroud. That's why Morata doesn't happen. That and the fact that he's had massive confidence issues.
All right, lads, great stuff for you for the weekend.
Leeds derby and then Burnley Fulham.
Are Leeds collapsing?
No, a little bit. Lost 3 on the spin, 2 in the league.
Leeds derby tomorrow.
Leeds derby tomorrow. Shea Givens derby.
Very good. And where are you Saturday?
Burnley Fulham. Relegation scrap.
Yeah, well, I'm at West Ham Arsenal, 12:30 Saturday. Kick off and then...
If you see our boy after the game, make sure you...
so I try and get away with him.
Run the other way, Kev. Nobody in this country wants you talking to Declan Rice.
I'll go down and try and grab...
you go get out of the ground as quickly as possible.
On Saturday, I'll send you a text. Nath, I've had 10 minutes with Declan Rice. I'll send it through to you. Do you want to play it?
If you looked at what Gareth Southgate is doing, I think there's a really good role for you there in the middle of midfield.
And then Stephen Doyle Sunday anyway, of course, Everton Bournemouth.
All right, great stuff, lads.